The stadium lights beamed like stars descended to earth, illuminating every face in the jam-packed crowd that had come to witness a spectacle unlike any other, a billionaire's bold, outrageous challenge that had the entire world talking, trending, and tuning in. $1 million, Vincent Marlowe declared, his voice thundering through the arena like a war drum, to the person who can calm my dog, Thor. The audience gasped, not because of the amount. Marlowe could have easily bet 10 times that without flinching, but because everyone knew Thor, a colossal, battle-trained German shepherd with jaws like a steel trap, eyes that pierced like daggers, and a reputation for being utterly unapproachable, untamable, and borderline feral. This was not a pet. It was a predator wrapped in fur, conditioned for protection and aggression, feared even by Marlowe's elite security team. Dozens had tried before. Decorated dog trainers, military handlers, animal behaviorists, with decades of experience, all of them humbled. All of them sent scurrying after mere seconds in Thor's presence. But today was different. Today was broadcast live to millions, filling news feeds, trending hashtags, and drawing celebrities, influencers, and skeptics into one arena where ego, danger, and mystery collided. Cameras panned across the crowd as person after person declined the invitation to step into the ring. No one wanted to risk their limbs, or worse, their pride on national television. Then, just beim brilliant roars. The spotlight shifted, the crowd turned, and from between rows of towering adults stepped a small girl, perhaps 8 or 9 years old, with long brown braids, a denim jacket, and eyes wide with something not quite fear and not quite wonder. Beside her stood her mother, visibly anxious, clutching a folded paper and whispering something inaudible. "I'm so sorry," the mother stammered, already trying to retreat. She has autism. She doesn't always understand these things. But the girl was already walking, her small feet padding softly on the stadium floor, as if the roar of thousands didn't exist. As if Thor, who now stood rigid, ears locked forward, teeth exposed, was nothing more than a curious shadow. The world seemed to stop breathing. Marlowe raised a hand to halt his security team, intrigued more than concerned. "Let her try," he said, with a smirk that masked the flicker of unease in his chest. The girl approached slowly, methodically, her hand outstretched, not with fear or trepidation, but with something deeper, an energy so pure, so intentional that even the beast's growl began to waver. In her other hand, she held a small, weather-worn piece of paper, folded into the shape of a heart, colored with crayon suns, clouds, and stars. She didn't speak. She didn't shout. She just stood before him, close enough to be bitten, and then sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes never leaving his. Thor growled once more, louder this time, and the crowd gasped. But the girl didn't move, didn't flinch, only placed her paper heart in front of her and whispered, "It's okay. I'm not scared. You're not either." Something strange happened then. The tension in Thor's frame seemed to evaporate like mist under sunlight. His ears drooped. His lips closed over his teeth. Slowly, he sat, then lowered his head to the paper heart, sniffed, and rested his chin on the floor with a sigh that felt like the releasing of chains. The arena exploded into sound shock. Cheers, tears. But the girl didn't notice. She just reached forward and gently touched his head. And he let her. For the first time ever, the dog who had been conditioned to resist, attack, and dominate had surrendered not out of fear, but out of trust. Marlowe's face was a portrait of disbelief. The man who had built empires, who had predicted market crashes, who had turned code into kingdoms, was speechless. He walked toward them slowly, almost reverently, and crouched beside the girl, still stunned. How did you do that?" he asked, his voice cracking like old paper. The girl looked up and smiled, not with arrogance, but with a kind of radiant knowing that only children seem to possess. "He's not mean," she said. "He's just loud on the inside, like me." In that moment, it didn't matter that she was different, or that she struggled to communicate with people. What mattered was that she had communicated with something most believed to be beyond reason. She had seen through the rage and found the loneliness, felt the storm but heard the silence. And somehow, Thor, this monster of steel and muscle, had seen her too. Later, interviews with Marlowe revealed that Thor had been rescued from a war zone. Abused by previous owners, trained in chaos, and barely capable of sleep unless sedated. "He doesn't trust people," Marlowe admitted. "Honestly, I didn't think he ever would. But Lily,